Hello, neighbor. Welcome back to my channel where I talk about all things passion, purpose, and photography. I'm so glad you could join me today to hear what I have to talk about. So, without further ado, let's get into the talk. I'm going to be talking about your path and how it becomes clear to you when you're introduced to someone who sheds a light on your path, on your way to destiny. We typically call such people mentors, and they can be in your life intimately, one-on-one, or they can be people you admire and you have discovered from a distance. But they say things and they do things that make you know this is someone I want to teach me about life, teach me about my career, teach me about my destiny, and help guide me into what I feel I have been called to do in this life. So sometimes in your life, you know exactly what you want to do, where you want to go, but the how is not clear. And this is where a mentor comes into your life and the light bulb comes on and you know this is exactly how I need to get it done. That's why mentors are so important to our lives. And this is how it was for me when I first started my journey into becoming a photographer. So it was in my early teens when one day, just going through magazines, I loved reading magazines and other books, and I came across the Vanity Fair issue, August 1991, I believe, and on the cover was the iconic image of Demi Moore in the nude, and she was heavily pregnant, and it was such a show-stopping image. There she was in all her glory in her birthday suit, and she was strategically posed so that her lower frontal part was covered, and then one hand was covering this breast, and she looked so beautiful. I was in awe. I had never, ever seen anything like that. And I remember staring at that magazine cover for ages. First of all, I loved Demi Moore. I loved her work. But then to see her like this, it was beautiful. And then reading the article inside, I discovered that the photographer was the legendary Annie Leibovitz. And from that moment on, I became a fan of Annie Leibovitz's work. Annie Leibovitz has been in the game for a very long time, and her images just do something to you. It's the lighting, the coloring, the posing, the ideology that is presented to you through her images. It's magical, it's ethereal, it's just breathtaking. And I didn't even know anything about photography then. I was like, so I began to notice that I was dreading going to cover weddings, and I couldn't wait for it to be over. But that moment with the bride, give it to me every time. That's when I realized, okay, portrait photography might be your thing. So I decided to start, closing down the niche down to portrait photography. And it was a joy. I exploded with joy and inspiration whenever I had to just do portraits, the one-on-one, because I love people. I love being one-on-one with someone and getting to know them, and portrait photography was another way to do that. So I began to thrive. I began to bloom. But in the process of that, I started searching for portrait photographers who I would love to be like. So Annie was there, of course, but she seemed so far away. I don't know why. Then I felt like, She's too far away. I need to find someone else that seems more realistic for me to be inspired by. So I would look at all kinds of photographers, fashion photographers, whatever they were doing. If I saw their images and it caught my attention, I would spend time with their work. I spent hours on Google just Googling portrait photographers and portrait photos. I remember I would spend ages on one image wondering, how was this lit? What lighting did they use? Why does it look this way? Why do the people look like they're not from this world? I can see they're human, but it looks unreal somehow. And I would stare and stare and stare. And I would try to figure it out in my head and try to take shots that way. Lots of trial and error. And whenever I saw a video of a photographer talking about their work and how they achieved it, I would listen. I wanted so badly for someone to be my mentor, but for whatever reason, I wouldn't connect with someone all the way. I would love their work, but maybe wouldn't like how they taught the process. Or I would like their work, how they taught the process, but there was still no connection one way or the other. So I was a bit, hanging in the limbo, not sure what to do. And one day in my search, I stumbled across a lady being interviewed about her work. Well, first of all, what drew me in was she was plus size and I was plus size. For some reason, I would find photographers, female photographers who looked like they were models themselves. And I kept thinking, do I need to look like I'm a model myself to be a sought after photographer? So it kind of discouraged me. But then I saw this lady plus size talking about her work, her process, and I saw her images and I was floored. And that photographer is Sue Bryce. Sue Bryce is amazing. And the more I listened to her and watched some of her classes and lectures, what did it for me, like seal the deal, was that Sue taught photography with soul. She taught her classes with heart. There was something about her that, yeah, she's teaching you business, how to make money, how to market, how to get your work in the face of people. But there was a way she taught it that didn't sound like a snake oil merchant. There was heart, there was soul, there was joy, there was emotion, there was connection. And there it was. I had found my mentor. Sue Bryce changed my photography game. I remember, like other pictures, I would stare at her images and wonder how she got this. And I would say to myself, I even said to my younger brother, I wonder when my pictures will look like this. I don't know when my pictures will look like this. Will they ever? But I spent time with her work. I joined her Sue Bryce education, where there are loads and loads of videos that are about photo shoots, marketing, business, how to dress your client, how to make your client comfortable. And Sue Bryce was so vulnerable. Her stories, where she started from, how she came into being one of the most sought after photographers. And it really, really inspired me because I was just starting and I didn't know how I was going to get this done. First of all, I was new to the United States. So there was that added challenge of getting to be known. I know no one here, no one knows me. And how do you start getting people to notice you and trust you enough to hand over money to you to take pictures of them? And I loved Subrai's story of how there was a time she was down and there were no clients coming, and how she, faced that challenge and made something of herself. And it just gave me courage. And forever and ever, I will be grateful for getting to discover Sue Bryce. And it's a dream of mine to meet her someday and just let her know, you changed the game for me. And I watched her videos like I was someone in a desert who had finally found an oasis, and I was just lapping up the water that I had seen and found in that oasis. I couldn't get enough. I watched Subrai's videos like I was watching movies. I listened to all the things she had to say. I read her blog posts. I saw her paint backdrops. I said, I'm going to try. And that's how I started painting backdrops. And gradually, my pictures evolved. And I remember one time my younger brother said to me, do you remember when you said you wished your pictures could look like this? They look like that now. And it just filled my heart with joy. I love it when people look at my pictures and they're like, this is photography? It looks like a painting. I'm like, yes! Because as a student of fine art, I also am in love with the style of the old painting masters. And so I edit and retouch my pictures to look like that. I also take pictures in a way that people look like ethereal beings. For me, it is so important for you to have images of yourself that look like art. I say you buy art and you put it on your wall. Why don't you put on your wall art that is you? So when people tell me, oh my God, your pictures look like art, they look like a painting, they don't look real, I say to myself, yes, I got the job done. So all of this is to say that finding the right mentor, finding the right person to be in your life, to guide you, makes a world of difference. I tell people I really wish I had someone in my life when I was that young teen and staring at images that Annie Leibovitz created, looking at pictures like I wanted to just sink into them. I wish there had been someone in my life to say, you know what, you could be a photographer. That would have helped. But unfortunately, I had no one around me to guide me in that way. And so I discovered photography way later in my life, in my 30s. But no regrets, because when I was ready to become a photographer, it happened. And when I was ready, my teacher, my mentor, Sue Bryce, showed up. So if you're in the life of young people or friends, loved ones, and you have a little bit of influence and they listen to you, keep your eyes open, keep your ears wide open to hear how they speak, what they say. And if you're able, steer them along the right path to their destiny. For me, that is so important. Being a mentor, the right mentor, is so important. So, what more can I say? I'm giving Sue Bryce and Annie Leibovitz their flowers. They don't need it from me. They're hugely successful. But I'm sure they never tire of hearing someone say, you changed my life. And I hope that one day I will be that person for someone who said, you said this, you did this, you showed me a certain thing, and it changed the trajectory of my career, of my dreams, of my life. So being a mentor, a good mentor, like I said, is one of the most important things in life. You know what? Life is grand. There's so many dreams to discover. There's so many adventures to go on. And when you're ready, your teacher will come. Well, that's it for today. Thank you so much for listening to me and allowing me to tell you a little bit about my life and my journey towards finding a mentor. And if you enjoyed this video, please hit the subscription button, give me a like, leave a comment. Let me know how I'm doing and what I'm doing for you, what I'm doing wrong, what I'm doing right. I will listen to it all. And until the next video, have a wonderful, wonderful day and stay blessed. Bye.